Welcome to Management Simulation. We are part of Project Starfish, an initiative that is transforming veterans to become project managers for a service economy like in cloud companies. This game is the goal level. What we are going to do is we're going to explain how you can benefit from this experience, what you need to do, and how you need to apply all your knowledge and due diligence as a veteran into a business case that we have built for you to become a very successful project manager. The skills that you're going to learn is exactly what the civilian industry needs. So let's go right in. First of all, let's talk about the game rules and the process flow. We will talk about your objective and what you're going to gain from this game. We'll talk about a business case. But the biggest piece will be the ask of the CEO of the company, which is the voice of the customer. We will explain the resources available. And at the end, there is a CEO interview and a peer-to-peer feedback session. So let's jump right in to explain what is the objective and what you're going to learn. Remember, the people that you're interacting with are not veterans. They are in the civilian industry. So is your team. So leading and influencing teams is very, very critical, the most important aspect. As a project manager, you have to completely understand nobody reports to you. You are the glue. The only thing that you have is the power of influencing people. You will also know cutting edge industry research. You have to build teams, communicate with businesses, understand market dynamics, communicate with clarity, solve problems. You also will go through an experience where you establish ground rules with teams, and you are responsible for team performance management. The second lesson in the civilian industry as a project manager is you have responsibility but no authority, which is the reason it goes to the first point. You only influence. So, what's a business case? Imagine you're a junior project manager at Project Starfish. Update your LinkedIn profile with exactly that you're a junior project manager at Project Starfish and what your tasks are. There's a division at Project Starfish which has a lot of people, but unfortunately, the team has little direction. It's hurting the business. The CEO has inducted you to either produce results or take decisions to remove the workers entirely. That also includes you. You did not know about all this before you became a junior project manager. So the ask is simple. The people are good, workers are talented. The biggest challenge is motivation and not being aligned well. Morale and work ethic is not good. Your job is to take the workers as a team, produce results based on the CEO's ask. So you've got a choice. You've got a chance to make a difference or kind of get fired. Okay, so your job is to survive and take 100% responsibility and control of the entire situation. The CEO's ask is that you interview and select a team. It is up to you how you want to frame the rules, but ensure that you do not eliminate people. Welcome the performers with congratulatory email and establish next steps. Ensure that you have a cadence with the team and establish rapport. Build a strategy, design the activity, and then lead. Ultimately, you're measured on performance to produce results or show significant improvement and get and get promoted. The resources that are available is that you've got a lot of workers because we're going to send you resumes of several people. Your job is to interview and find the best candidate. Remember, you are clocked. Anything that you do in this business simulation or any interaction that you make results in clocking you for the time. You can plan outside the simulation, and we always tell you that you need to plan very, very hard for each and every hour that you account for. You'll have personal assistants. Remember one thing, although we have the resources available, project managers have to get used to building structure. Our simulation is pretty much gray in nature, which means it is your duty to make it black and white. The more you do it, the more questions you ask. That is how you build your skills in the civilian industry. You'll have mentors and industry project managers as your mentors as well if you need them, but any conversation that you have with mentors is also clocked. Okay, so let's go to the simulation, which we call as a goal level. You will experience several steps. And remember, you're the protagonist. You're at the center, playing this role, and it's real. Now, the first thing is build a team. Recruitment of workers in your team is very critical. Why is that? Because they are human resources that you need to lead in the team. Building teams is not easy. You have to establish the rapport, motivate them, influence them, and ensure that you show that you are the leader. To do that, the team is going to give you a business case study to execute. What is a business case study? You're given a company. You have to study the company and basically find out what are the problems and challenges in that company. It is a 60-minute session. You'll learn more about it. But the main point is, if you do not establish the relationship with your team and show that you are the leader, there's no chance you'll be able to mentor them and align them properly. It is the biggest challenge if you're a project manager in the civilian industry. Your job is also to strategize. Strategize would mean that you have to strategize with the whole team in sending out emails to bring customers or businesses on the phone so you can chat with them and brainstorm with them. Set the expectation with the team, execute the project really well, and remember, you can manage the project, but what we are talking about is you have to lead. You have it in you. It's just you're enacting this role in the civilian industry to get the work experience. Last couple of pieces. As a project manager, you're expected to be very clear with your communication. If you're not clear, you'll never be able to deliver results. And no project is complete without a written handoff. If you do not meet your objectives or you meet your objectives, it doesn't matter until there is a complete sign off. Okay, guys, so before you begin, remember this is a game, but it's a real game with real outcomes. Everything is real. We can provide the suggestions, but remember, there's no rules. The rules are up to you. And purposely, we have kept this simulation gray in nature. It is your duty to make it black and white. You have 10 hours to show the results, or maximum 7 days. If you cannot complete that, you will be charged with a fine, and it's a small fine, but it's very important because you need to feel the pressure that project managers go through day in, day out. Okay, so remember one thing, as a project manager, you have to clearly understand one strategy, the CAR principle. Clarity and alignment equals results. You have to completely work on these two elements, clarity and the alignment piece, the results will automatically happen. Remember one thing, CEOs are busy people. If you do not have compelling reasons, you will never get a meeting. Be crystal clear about the outcomes and ask questions. Last piece, planning is very, very important. If you're not a good planner, you'll never be able to make this through the end of the simulation. Last hint that I want to give you is you will get a virtual admin as your private assistant. The private assistant has been in the organization for many years. Sometimes you may have to get some help from people like a virtual admin because they have been here in this organization for a long time. So let's start the game. Let's start the simulation. Go through the next couple of slides in detail, although I'm just going to cover things at a high level. The outcome expected from the CEO, or the CEO expects the following from you, that you have a set time. Either you produce results, get promoted, show improvement, or be taken off. The results will matter. Everything is performance based. Your effort matters, but the results matter much more. As a project manager, you're expected to deliver. So, we name it as step 0 because these are some of the things that you will have to mentally prepare. Always remember, time is of the essence. If a project goes beyond time, you are charged, you're fined. You're fined because that's how project managers basically work in companies. If a project is late, that's because of the project manager. So interview your workers. Remember, selection of your team is extremely, extremely important. Understanding the whole situation and finding out the root cause of poor results is equally important. This is where you have to build a strategy. And every time you lead the team, project management is about due diligence and proper due diligence. Remember, your goal is to convert gray into black and white. It's a game of people. People, process, and technology, but everything is driven by people. Building rapport and connection with your team is exceptionally important. The team should feel comfortable about you. The business case study is something that you have to prepare. Ask your personal assistant. They can give you a lot of hints, but you have 60 minutes to run the case study. Your goal is to come up with solutions and establish a clear strategy for the team to execute. If you cannot identify and set the expectations, and people do not agree with your plan, trust me, they will not be able to execute. That is the most important thing you learn as a project manager. If you don't establish the vision, the mission, and clearly articulate the next steps, execution will not be good. Why? Because you're not aligned. People are not aligned. Now, always remember, as a project manager, you have to be very clear about the outcomes. Always get proof. Always get proof in the civilian industry that you have done your work well. If you do not produce proof, then people above you will not know how good you are. When you hand off the whole project to the CEO, make an appointment. Remember, communication is key. How you write to the CEO is entirely up to you. You'll have 15 minutes at the max to convince a CEO to promote you. And as a final assessment, peer-to-peer feedback is very important, which means while you have been leading the show as a protagonist, your workers are also very important. Your team is important. Teams should be giving clear feedback. And the feedback is conducted by using the afterburner technique. So, Guys, I will leave this over to you. I'm not going to talk about the afterburner technique. I'll let you find that out. But go to the next game and follow the guidelines. For the time being, best of luck and ensure that you play this game